In the report submitted to Congress annually, the Pentagon has stated the PRC has the largest Navy in the world, with an overall battle force of approximately 350 ships and submarines, including over 130 major surface combatants. In comparison, the U.S. Navy's battle force is approximately 293 ships as of early 2020. Speaking at a press conference, Deputy Assistant Secretary of Defense for China, Chad Sbragia, said that China was on a course to expand its fleet to 360 vessels by the end of 2020. Viewers may note that in 2019, China had a 335-ship fleet, about 55% larger than in 2005, as per the recent Congressional Research Service report titled China's Naval Modernization: Implications for U.S. Navy Capabilities, Background and Issues for Congress. This clearly depicts the frantic shipbuilding pace China's maintained in recent years. Overall, the picture looks daunting for the rivals of China. It's the world's top manufacturer, has the second largest economy, and now the world's largest naval force. Many will think that the Chinese Navy will dominate, especially in the Asia-Pacific region. But there's a caveat: larger doesn't always mean more powerful. In this video, Defense Updates analyzes why the Chinese Navy is no match to the U.S. Navy, even though it is now the larger one. Let's get started. This video is sponsored by War Thunder. If you are, like us, fascinated by military vehicles and technology, I recommend you give War Thunder a try. It's a military vehicle combat game which you can download and play for free on PC, PlayStation 4, and Xbox One with cross-platform support. It has a huge variety of more than 1,200 playable aircraft, tanks, helicopters, and ships from the 1930s to the 1990s, which you can take to battle on land, in the air, and at sea on more than 80 theaters of war. War Thunder's been kind enough to offer all Defense Updates viewers a special bonus, which will grant you a free premium tank, aircraft, or ship, and 3 days of premium account time for registering using our link in the description below. So take the plunge and join more than 20 million players from around the world. Although China has more seafaring vessels than the United States, the size of those are much smaller. It's about quantity versus quality. The U.S. Navy has a combined tonnage of at least twice that of China's. If the United States Navy wanted more ships, it would have built more small boats with the same budget. But that's not the case. U.S. Navy prioritizes 100,000-ton supercarriers, 40,000-ton large amphibious ships, as well as larger destroyers and cruisers, over small frigates and vessels like literal combat ships. Actually, the U.S. Navy defines warship in such a way that huge numbers of its own smaller vessels are not considered when it comes to counting the size of the blue water fleet. So going by just the number of vessels is misleading. A single Hornet can kill as many as 40 bees per minute due to its large mandibles, which can quickly strike and decapitate prey. An analogy can be drawn. A single large warship armed with potent weapons could destroy a substantial number of smaller and less capable vessels. China currently has only 2 carriers. The Liaoning entered service in 2012. The nation's first fully indigenously built carrier, the Shandong, entered service in December. Both of these are conventionally powered and have an estimated displacement of 60,000 to 66,000 tons. Liaoning can accommodate around 30 aircraft, whereas Shandong may be able to carry 40 aircraft. Both these carriers use ski ramp, which limits the fuel and weapons carried by the fighters. A third Chinese carrier is under construction, and a fourth may see construction starting in 2021. These vessels are expected to be larger, with a displacement of 80,000 tons, and may have a catapult system to launch aircraft. China is developing a 5th-generation stealth jet for its carrier, but there's still a long way before it can be deployed operationally. The United States, on the other hand, has 10 nuclear-powered Nimitz-class supercarriers and is acquiring new Ford-class platform, which is designed to have a 33% increase in sortie generation rate when compared to Nimitz-class vessels. The lead ship, The USS Gerald R. Ford is undergoing post-delivery test and trials, and the follow-on carriers, John F. Kennedy, Enterprise, and Doris Miller, are scheduled to be delivered in 2024, 2028, and 2032, respectively. All these carriers have a proven fleet of FA-18 E and F Super Hornet, EA-18G Growler, and E-2 Hawkeye, and these can operate with full payload because of the availability of the Catobar system. Also, these supercarriers are on their way to carry advanced assets like 5th generation F-35C fighter jets, as well as MQ-25 Stingray unmanned aerial tankers. It's clear that the U.S. Navy dominates this category by a large margin. The Pentagon's China report noted that Beijing remains engaged in a robust surface combatant construction program, producing new guided missile cruisers, CG, guided missile destroyers, DDG, and guided missile frigates, FFG, which will significantly upgrade the PLA Navy's air defense, anti-ship, and anti-submarine capabilities. The Renhai class Type 055 cruiser, which reportedly has a displacement of 13,000 tons, is PLAN's most potent surface combatant. China plans to build 8 of these, and the first one, named Nanchang, is currently in active service. It also has Luoyang 3 Type 052D class destroyers, which displace about 7,500 tons. Interestingly, these are thought to be equipped with phased array radars and vertical launch missile systems like American warships. The ships have been in serial production for some time now, and the 23rd vessel was launched in December. The People's Liberation Army Navy is also building Type 056 corvettes, has 44 of these in active service. These have a displacement of 1,500 tons and are designed to be multi-mission warships. Also in September, China launched the first of a new class of amphibious assault ships called the Type 075 that has an estimated displacement of 35,000 to 40,000 tons. U.S. Navy has 25-plus Ticonderoga-class cruisers and 65-plus Arleigh-Burke-class destroyers, which are multi-role warships. Ticonderoga-class has 122, and Arleigh-Burke-class has 92 Mark 41 cells, which can be used to deploy a variety of different kinds of weapons. It has 8 Wasp-class amphibious assault ships and has also started deploying the America-class amphibious assault ship. U.S. Navy also possess Zumwalt-class destroyers, which feature unique wave-piercing tumble-home hulls. The design significantly reduces the radar cross-section, since the slope makes the hull return very less radar signal that's directed to it when compared to a traditional hull. This makes the ship harder to detect and target. Some reports indicate that the ship has a radar return similar to a small fishing boat. China has nothing like this. With the inclusion of littoral combat ship, the U.S. Navy has also plugged certain holes, like operating in constrained places. The service has plans for a new multi-mission frigate known as FFG-X, which is expected to be equipped with the Aegis weapon system. The weapons pack in the Chinese warship are largely untested in real war scenarios, unlike the American ones, and this will give crucial advantage to the U.S. Navy. China's submarine force has vessels that are mostly diesel-electric powered, could threaten U.S. carriers or other ships. The Defense Intelligence Agency has estimated that by this year, China would have a submarine fleet of about 70 boats. These are equipped with anti-ship cruise missiles, wire-guided and wake-homing torpedoes, and mines. It includes nuclear-powered attack submarines, or SSNs, such as the Shang class, and ballistic missile boats like Type 094 Jin class, each of which can carry 12 JL-2 nuclear-armed ballistic missiles. The U.S. Navy currently has 69 submarines, of which all are nuclear-powered and much more sophisticated when it comes to sensors and stealth. It recently signed a deal to buy 9 Virginia-class nuclear-powered attack submarines that will be equipped with the Virginia Payload Module, which will increase the missile carrying capacity by about 75%. It's also pursuing a new class of 12 nuclear-powered ballistic missile subs, Columbia, to replace the aging Ohio class. Each boat will carry 16 Trident II nuclear-tipped missiles. The lead ship is scheduled to be operational by 2031. U.S. has a distinct edge when it comes to the undersea fleet, since the Chinese submarine fleet is way noisier when compared to U.S. or Western subs, which make them easier to detect and target. Thanks for watching. Subscribe for more videos like this. Hit the like button if you find the video interesting, and kindly provide your feedback in the comments section. This will help us improve.